All right, hello. Coming to you from outside. Again, so beautiful. Feeling really grateful that I have this time. Thankful to my husband who can recognize when I need space and basically kicks me out. It's like, go, refuel yourself. So here we are, video 5 of the Uncomfortable Awakening series. I have one more after this. If you would have told me it would take me this long to release all these videos, I would have never believed you. The capacity at which I'm moving now versus when I was working full-time is vastly different. So I'm trying not to judge myself. So today we're going to talk about, like, why is this all happening? Are we just doomed? Should we just lose all hope for society? Is this all horrible? Are our children's futures going to be terrible? Or is maybe there's something deeper and bigger and more expansive happening here underneath the surface? Where do you think I'm going to go with this one? So I want to give you a little bit of screenshots or screen recordings from a near-death experience, as I was talking about those in the last video, because those have really, really helped me in times of worry and fear and the unknown. And also talk to you about these different levels of awakening that is happening right now and where you might be stuck. So yeah, there is a lot of darkness going on right now. I am not, I have rose-colored glasses, but I also see reality for what it is. And I would like to think, I've always been an eternal optimist, but I also understand reality and what we're struggling with here. So it's always a fine line, for sure. But right now, I believe, and from all of the deep spiritual research that I have done, is the earth is raising in vibration. So we are going to move closer and closer to quote unquote heaven on earth, or Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it. We're moving to a more enlightened state. But the only way that we can do that is to see the darkness and to heal the darkness. We can't heal something that we cannot see, right? It's like you've had a chronic pain and you've had all these symptoms and you've been suffering and you don't know why you've been suffering. The only way that you can heal from it is by recognizing and acknowledging what the core issue is, what the problem is. I'm trying to find a nice place to maybe sit down, because I gotta be honest, I don't think that us talking to each other like this is healthy. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's healthy because when you and I have a conversation, we're gonna be more like here, maybe even further. We're not gonna be looking at each other's pores and wrinkles. And so I just think it's so unhealthy that we're recording videos like that. Unhealthy for everybody involved, the recorder and the watcher. So I always like arm distance because it's nice. Can't judge my own self. Other people can't judge. It's a little easier. So yes, we are waking up. And all of this darkness, all of the darkness that we are seeing right now has been going on for a very long time. Much longer than I think we want to admit. Especially older generations do not want to admit that this was going on in their time, but it absolutely was. And the only way that we can become a world that has more love and that vibrates at a higher frequency is by witnessing the darkness, processing the darkness, and rising above it. And that's exactly what we're going through right now. And it is not easy. I will fully admit that. This is not easy. It is not easy being the people on the planet who have to really recognize this and has the emotional capacity or intelligence to recognize this, not being like my kids right now. They're just still in kid fairy tale land, which is what we want for them, right? So they're not having to be the seers, the unravelers. That's not their generation. I believe that this generation that is here, the millennial generation and around there, is like, we are the witnessers. We are the one unraveling this and seeing this. And that is so hard on so many levels. We're having to do so much nervous system work to just ground ourselves so we don't get lost in the hopelessness. It's hard. But I trust that the younger generations are going to be the fixers. They are going to be the true light workers. But they cannot do that unless we do our work and are able to witness this and be able to rise above it and trust that good things will come of this. So yes, we are raising in vibration. And again, if you even want to think of it like if you have like an insurmountable amount of debt that you've just been avoiding. You've just been avoiding it. I'm not going to look at it. That's where we've been for the last few hundred years. We didn't realize we weren't seeing something, but it was being hidden from us. And the only way you can heal from the debt, the only way you can rise up from the debt, is by opening up the credit card statements, putting it all onto a spreadsheet, recognizing where you actually are in terms of like what you need to pay off. You have to be able to look at it to be able to rise above it. So that is what is happening right now. I believe that 100%. And so one of the intuitives that I follow, she gave this really good example of like awakenings and spiritual awakenings. And there's two levels of spiritual awakenings. There's a societal awakening, which I think a lot of people are having right now, myself included, is like where we're really starting to see the darkness of the world and really like disgusted by it and don't want to believe it. Some people are in complete denial about it. I mean, I'm not in denial about it. I absolutely believe that this has been going on for a really long time. When it all started being revealed, I was like, this has been happening underneath the surface without us knowing for a really long time. So it needs to happen. Like, we need to see this. And so the societal awakening is a part of the awakening in the process, but you could get stuck there. And this is where you get really sinister and pessimistic and just feeling like, the world is going to hell in a handbasket. Like, looking at some of the comments of people who, who are maybe an older generation who kind of say, I'm so glad I'm on my way out of here. I'm so glad this is happening towards the end of my life. I'm so glad that I'm getting ready to leave. Peace out. You guys have fun here because this shit's really dark and gross and I don't want to be a part of it. Like, I'm just kind of like with them, like, well, it's been going on your entire livelihood and before you. So like, it still affects you energetically, right? Like, just like with the debt or the chronic pain, like, even though we might not be able to pinpoint it, or we might say, oh, the debt doesn't bother me. I know it's there, but it still does. It still brings down your frequency. And so if they realize it or not, this was affecting their lives because things were not, energy wasn't squeaky clean. It wasn't in light. It was in the darkness, if you knew it or not. And so there's a part of the awakening that is, yes, just the societal awakening. But the next level of awakening is our own soul awakening, seeing this from a higher perspective. And that's what I'm here to welcome you into, is like, there is a deeper plan at play, and evolved souls and people who really want to believe that there is something good that's going to come of it, that involves our own self-reflection. And in the next video, I want to talk about how we're complicit in all of this and also how we can create change in a big way. But I think more than anything, with this video, I wanted to talk to you about the bigger picture here and how this really is for the greater good, even though it's really hard. And from, again, all of the like spiritual research that I've done, is it's going to be dark for a few more years. And then I heard in 2032 will be the time when we'll really start to feel the light come in a bigger way. But it's so important from our own soul's process, and also for the societal and like from humanity's standpoint, we have to keep tapping into the light. We have to let the light into our existence as many times as we possibly can throughout a day, so we don't fall victim to the darkness. And that's where, again, having digital boundaries are important, and finding opportunities for that light to enter your heart. Like, I had an invitation in Living in Color today about these little white butterflies that keep flying because it's springtime here in March. Crazy. And so instead of being worried about that, because that's real and fires are real, I try to see those little white butterflies as like an opportunity to bring some light into my heart and into my soul. And I just like look at the butterfly and I say, see you, thank you. And I let the light enter my body. And so it's like little things like that matter. And something else that I want to talk to you about on this video that I keep forgetting is I'm having a 7-day soul reboot experience. If you would like to come in, the links are going to be around this video. If you're enjoying this and you want to let more light into your life, you want to not fall victim to just the societal awakening that can leave you down and out, you want to start evolving yourself, and you want to start evolving your soul, and you want to start feeling that goodness now and not waiting until the outside world reflects that, then come on in. It's going to be amazing. 7 days, it's going to be on like a Signal chat, and you'll get like something in the morning, a little prompt in the morning and a little prompt in the afternoon on how to just start feeling more soul and more love in your life on a daily basis. So now I want to actually cut to this one NDE experience that I listened to recently. I have listened to, watched, read thousands of them. And the things that she says in this video, they all say in some way, shape, or form. They all have their own different flavor. They all have their own different names. Some call them spirit guides, some call them angels, some call it God, some call it spirit, some call it divine love. Again, like I said in the last video, let's not get all caught up on the semantics and the names. Everyone's allowed to have their own name for their own higher power, and not feel high and mighty and egoic of like, oh, well, that's wrong. Like, just, can we just like, it's a source of love. That's what it is. And so let's cut to this NDE really quick, and then we'll wrap up this video.
And I thought, I know this place. I really don't know how I know this place. And my spiritual guide at that point said, yeah, you do know this place. This is where you came from. This is your home. And I thought, my home? But it felt right. I mean, there was nothing about what I was being told that felt foreign. It felt like, okay, this is it. I am home. And I started moving through the web. And quickly, I became aware that I was seeing scenes from my life. Scenes from my life that I really remembered instantly, but that I really hadn't thought were significant, you know? And some were tough to look at. And I remember thinking, okay, if this is a time for me to reach out to this guide for support, I'm going to do it now. And I just had that thought. And the message I received was, this is about learning. This is about re-experiencing what happened in your life, and not just from your own experience, but from the experience of the other. And that was told to me at the same time I was experiencing it. So it was kind of a, like a simultaneous experience. And one that I'll share that was very difficult for me was I was a young nurse, and there was a place that we went to that was frequented by a lot of Hopkins professionals for dinner. We would go there sometimes, and they gave you large portions. And when I came out of the restaurant, the friend that I was with, one of my closest friends, another Hopkins nurse, we had, a lot of food. And I can remember thinking, I am going to bring this food home for my kids. At that point in my life, I was a single parent, and I was just so happy that I was going to be able to bring this doggy bag, we had so much food. We came out of the restaurant, and I locked eyes immediately with a homeless man who was right outside of the restaurant. And I instantly knew what I was going to be shown, and I did not want to see it. Because I, who had always given food or money or even a bottle of water or whatever it was to homeless people. I had worked with the homeless populations in Baltimore, in free clinics. And, it was so unlike me not to give to this person. And I made the conscious decision not to do that because I wanted to bring that food home for my kids. And I remember the look in his eyes. And I could see them right now. It's difficult to even talk about it. And I felt it so deeply in that moment. And then I heard, think about and look at what he was experiencing. And then what I was shown was something I would have never known about this individual. And that was that he was hungry for sure. But he felt tremendous shame. And his thoughts were, which I could hear, were, well, of course you're not going to give me your food. Why would you? Look at you. You're coming out of this restaurant, you're dressed nicely, and here I am. Look at me. I'm like smelly, I'm horrible. And why would you give me your food? And the shame that he felt at feeling that vulnerable and feeling in that, himself in that condition was worse than the physical hunger that he was feeling. And then I was shown that this man had been a very successful man at one point in his life. He had had a car accident and he had become addicted to OxyContin. And through a series of events in that addiction, he had lost his business, he had lost his family, he had lost his marriage, and he had lost everything. And I would never have known that from looking at him on the outside. And in that moment, in that life review, I thought two things. Number one, don't show me anymore because I was so ashamed of not responding to that. And then I remember the guide kind of helping me to see that, it didn't really matter, what he looked like on the outside. Like, you would never have known this. And we're showing this to you because you never know what's going on inside. You never know what battle somebody has fought or what they're fighting. And I thought, I'm never going to forget this. I'm never, ever going to forget this. Just became very aware that before I would form a question in my soul, in my essence, that it was answered. And that was when I was absolutely convinced I was in the presence of God, that I was known so deeply that I did not even have to ask the question. And the answer was very clear. The answer was, don't look at the events, look at the souls, look at the lights. And I directed my gaze to the lights. And the lights were unchanged. They were as bright and beautiful as they were ever. And I heard the words, you see, nothing can harm the soul, ever. The soul is immortal and intact. And these things are hard to look at, but the soul can never, ever be harmed. And I can't even put into words how deeply I felt that. I would say I felt it in every cell of my body if I had one. It was just such a deep knowing that, oh my gosh, this makes sense. I wish I knew this. I wish I knew this before, that nothing could harm the soul. And then I heard the words, there is one thing though, that can change the soul. And then I saw events in front of the souls that were events of wonderful things, love, compassion. Somebody had helped somebody across the street. Somebody had, put a Band-Aid on the knee of a child that had fallen, or put their arm around somebody who was grieving. And when I saw those events, the lights became brighter. And I heard the words, you see, this is really who we are. This is who you are.
Isn't that amazing? If you ever just feel hopeless, I'm telling you, just go onto YouTube and search near-death experiences. And you watch a few of those, you just let it play in the background while you're working or something. I'm telling you, you get this dose of hope that really, again, when I was really diving into it, I felt so lost on so many different perspectives of my life, and it just helped me so much. And what she says about why we're here and connecting with each other, that is not a coincidence. I'm telling you, so many of them had this exact same theme. Like I was saying, that your thoughts you have a responsibility for your thoughts. It's not just your actions, it's your thoughts, and doing things to help release any sort of negative thoughts that you might have, because we're human and we have free will and we have egos, and we're going to have not nice thoughts, and we have to forgive ourselves for those. And when we forgive ourselves, for those, I believe that they just like dissipate and they don't bring down the frequency of the planet. So that's why we're here. We're here to connect with each other. Those very small moments. I was talking about this in video 1, is like going to the post office or on a walk and like literally looking someone in the eye, like taking your glasses off as they're walking by you and look them in the eye, like look them right in the eye and smile at them and feel that in your heart. You will feel something. If you get present, you will feel something. Let that enter your heart. There is so much beauty in that. And we need that. We need that so much right now. And we're here to just share love with each other and care for each other. It's so beautiful when you think about it. We've made things so complicated. We've overthought this so many times. And now it's like, wow, it's just so simple. And that's why I love teaching Living in Color and doing the 7-day reboot, is so you could really just come back to like what matters. And what matters is right here, right now. What you can see, touch, hear, taste, feel. Like that's what it is. That's what this is. It's about feeling joy. It's about feeling all the complex emotions. Like really, I was thinking about it in like this video series, you have gotten a little bit of all of me. You know, I've been anxious in some videos. I've been sick in some videos. I've been sad. I felt really good. Today I feel really emotional. And it's like, that's humans. That's being a human. You know? Oh my gosh, look at this cute little dog running up on me. Hi! 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 How cute. Hi! Like, that's what it's about. A little doggy coming and running up to you and like just wanting to say hi. Like, animals are so great for that. Kids are so great for that. Like, a part of me is just so jealous of my kids in a good way, because they see what life is about in such a beautiful way. Like, my daughter is just such a little light, and she brings so much joy into our family, because my 10-year-old could act like a teenager a lot. And she's just all about like having fun and giggling. And it's just that beautiful innocence. And we need to come back to that and protect ourselves from the things that are bringing us down, like social media, like too much news, you know? Anything, last words that I want to share with you in this video? So let the love in today. Feel it. Let it saturate your body. See if you can hold it for just 2 seconds longer. And know that you're lighting up the planet and you're casting away darkness by doing that. All right. Bye.